Hey guys, how you doing today? I'll show you a quick little video of something I came up with a while back, and it works real good for grown-ups and children trying to ride these trx90s. Once you put the stronger clutch springs in the primary clutch, it makes it really hard to work the shifter. This actuator here, this arm, this is actually the shifter shaft that this arm goes on. Then you've got this actuator, which this is the modified version. Generally, the stock actuator is going to have a piece that comes all the way down and around. And what happens, if you can see this, round roller here on this arm, what that does when you work your shifter, it actuates this back and forth, and the way it pushes this clutch down inside your clutch cover here. You've got these three rollers. This is your clutch adjustment. And as you rock this back and forth, these rollers, when the clutch is in its engaged position, those rollers in the cover are in these notches. As you actuate your shifter arm, it rotates this for upshifting or downshifting, and those rollers jump up on this flat surface here, and in effect, the rollers push the actuator. They push the actuator down onto your clutch throwout plate here, and what that does, it separates all your discs just enough so that it's the same as pulling a hand clutch on any other kind of motorcycle or pushing your clutch pedal in your car. So that's how the modified one will sit in here. All right, and then when you shift this actuator, well, hard to shift with one hand, but when you shift, this actuator is going to go down this way for upshifting. So you can see I've cut this back part out, so it's this clutch actuator is just going to stay engaged. So your clutch is going to stay engaged. I'm sorry, when you're upshifting, the clutch is going to stay engaged. This actuator is just going to go out here away from it, and the rollers on your inside cover are going to be pressed against this actuator, holding it right here so it can't be flopping around in there. Now when you downshift, downshifting is usually pretty easy because you've got the whole weight of your body able to push on the shifter. Upshifting is a lot tougher because there might be 5 pounds or there might be 25 pounds of pressure on the shifter according to what springs you're running behind this pressure, this throwout bearing. So when you upshift, the actuator goes down and away from this, the arm goes down and away from this actuator. When you downshift, it's going to be rotating this actuator and engaging the clutch. So you'll still have the ability to do like a whole shot with by dropping the shifter, which if you're, say, sitting on the start line, or if you're just trying to hold the bike in neutral, you'll push down on the shifter, which is going to actuate forward and going to disengage your clutch. And then as soon as you let off the shifter, it's going to come back like this, and your primary clutch will be engaged. Now this is the auto clutch. It just works just like an old go-kart clutch. It's got shoes in here with springs, and the faster this inner hub spins, the weight of the shoes make them press on this outer hub. This outer hub has a shaft that goes right over your crankshaft, and it's a direct drive right to this primary clutch. Your CRF50s, XR70s, some of the other ones, not the TRX90 motor, do not have this primary clutch. All they have is a similar auto clutch to this, but it's kind of a combination of both of these on the smaller bikes. So with this primary clutch, you can put a lot more power down to the ground. It won't slip as easy. This is basically essentially the same as the CR85 clutch. Little bit different, but it's if you set them both beside each other to the naked eye, it's hard to tell the difference. They work the same. They do the same thing. So that's the gist of it. If you want your kid to be able to upshift faster, easier, basically with the pressure of one finger instead of 5 to 25 pounds, just cut the back and the bottom off of this actuator. It's just going to loop around like this, and what it does, it follows this roller again, and when you shift up, this roller will actuate this one way. When you shift down, it will actuate the other way. So all we're doing is taking the action of working the clutch out of upshifting. But The side of that, here's the thing: when you're under acceleration, these transmission gears kind of stay meshed together real tight. So when you have this actuator in place, you can hold this motor wide open, and as you're shifting, it's actuating this clutch, giving a little bit of slack in the transmission as you go. So we're taking that away on upshifts. So we're making a sacrifice. You do have to let off the gas just momentarily, I mean, as fast as you can get off the throttle and back on it, that's all you have to do, and it gives the transmission enough time to relax between the gears to shift smoothly. If you want to go through the trouble and have the gears back cut and the transmission hardened, if your kid can shift it, you can just shift right along like any other bike, you know, as if you were feathering the clutch or whatever. It shifts pretty smooth. But with a stock transmission, you do need to let off the gas momentarily, and it'll shift smooth as butter. Downshifting, you'll still have the clutch working, so everything else will be normal on the downshift. But that's the gist of it. I'm not selling these. I'm just passing this information along, and if you want to try it, it's a real cheap way to make your bike shift easier when you've got these aftermarket springs in here, because you've added more power. Or even with a stock bike with stock springs. You got a real young rider, great idea, because it literally you can shift with the pull of a finger. All right, catch y'all next time.